We're living the biggest hype cycle of the century. Today, everybody's talking about AI, and our guest today is the person actually making AI happen in big enterprises. Anuraag has been a hedge fund manager, a successful founder, a prolific angel investor, and most recently, he's the co-founder of TrueFoundry. Anuraag, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Piyush, for having me here. Excited for this.
Anuraag, tell us about your journey starting TrueFoundry. How did you come up with this idea?
So we started TrueFoundry around 4.5 years back. It was very, I would say, non-deterministic part towards how we reached at finding TrueFoundry. So we were working on our earlier startup, which was in the talent space called Entire, and we ended up selling that to Infra, which is one of the big enterprises in that space. And during that time, as founders, me, Nikunj, and Abhishek, we were constantly thinking about, hiring is not something we relate to fully, and we come from tech backgrounds. Nikunj and Abhishek has worked at Meta. I've seen some of really good systems at WorldQuant. What is something that will actually define the trajectory for the next century? And we felt that AI has still not reached that level in other companies as compared to what we see the impact it has at Meta. And we thought we should do something in AI. And we didn't have an idea, so we felt, okay, deploying things were very tough. So why don't we start there and make it very easy for everyone to have a similar sacrosanct platform that Meta has and enable that as the way to accelerate AI in the world.
Tell us, what does TrueFoundry do?
So we have gone through various cycles of discovery. And today, I'll tell you about the state of TrueFoundry today, Piyush. And TrueFoundry is an enterprise AI gateway platform. And if I have to put into perspective, as agentic AI is growing 100-folds and everyone is moving towards that, there are various components of agentic AI. Like, it started with models, and soon it expanded into MCP servers. Then there are other agents, and there are other components like guardrails. Today we talk about skills. All of these need to be managed and controlled at a single place so that you can decide what is the governance around it, what is the security around it. Do I have the right observability to use the data to then build on top of it to make it even more immutable and better? And that requires a single layer that allows every single company in the world to roll it out to a wider audience without being worried about things breaking, including costs. And that is what we are. We are trying to be that central layer through which all the AI traffic in the world is governed.
Interesting. So AI is literally a gold rush, and you are building that proverbial shovel in the gold rush. How does it feel? How does it feel to be building in such a hot market?
It feels amazing, and I would say I'm obliged. Me and my founders and my team are obliged to this world for presenting us this opportunity that we can actually play that role. I'll maybe give a comparison to what happened in the financial world, right? Earlier it was cash as a mode of payment, and then it transitioned to, okay, we'll have cards, and then someone told that we will have, in India, UPI, and in the world, like PayPal and other modes of communication. And as a merchant, if you had to launch your business, if you only accepted cash, it will make it very hard for a lot of people around the world to transact with you, because someone sitting in US cannot pay someone sitting in India. And that changed when these modes were discovered. But then someone had to tell that, okay, I will allow you as a merchant to transact with whatever way you want to. And that led to what we call today as payment gateways. Stripe has emerged as one of the biggest companies there. And the same thing is happening in the AI space, right? It started with models. Today there is MCPs. Tomorrow there might be another protocol. And you need to have that central layer that someone can trust, that if you have to deliver an agentic AI application either to your customers internally or to any other systems around the world, you can use this as the central layer to enable the controls and everything. So what a payment gateway does in the payment world is what AI gateway does in the AI world. And having that visibility, the possibility that all the AI traffic in the world can flow through us and we can see that, is so much powerful that it kind of makes it exciting to build.
Very interesting. Tell me, when you started in 2021, did you expect this market will become so hot so fast?
It's hard to tell, Piyush. What the market is today is not something that was in our expectation. At that time, ChatGPT had not even been released. And the way you viewed AI was while we knew that the way Meta uses AI, even in those days, was significantly powerful for its business in the way it shows ads, in the way it kind of markets it, feeds to the people and so on. We felt that at Meta, the impact is significant, but other companies around the world are not getting that impact. And we felt that there was a need of a platform layer that can enable people to roll out AI. But the use cases of AI were supposed to be still constrained to a narrow set of business use cases for each company, and they were still something in our minds that will grow, but we didn't know it will grow 1000x and maybe million x or whatever, right? Because when ChatGPT got released, it completely changed what AI could do, and definitely not something we had imagined.
Interesting. You're building in such a hot space, right? This is every founder's dream come true. TrueFoundry is one of the hottest startups in the valley. Do you ever fear that all of this will go away?
It's a tough question. I think as a founder, you are always in the search for truth. And when you're in a search for truth, you are questioning what can completely change, that can dwindle what exists today. And there will always be multiple possibilities, right, in terms of what can happen. For example, there could be one model that is so powerful in the world that there is no need for anything else, and that model provider takes everything. But at the same time, you continue to build because you are betting on probabilities, and we have seen that happen across spaces, that there are multiple winners and there are multiple skillful people in the world. So it's very hard to believe that there will be a single winner. If we think of this as a playbook where a lot of model providers will emerge, a lot of MCP providers will emerge, a lot of agent harnesses will emerge, that allows us to then think about what can we play a role of harnessing and sitting in between and governing, so that we can continue to become big. And every day, we kind of think about that. Some of those can be game-changing decisions, but yeah, that is how I would say about it. But it's always a fear in the mind.
So Anuraag, see, as a founder, right, you're always paranoid about something. What were you paranoid about when you started?
Personally, or in terms of respect of TrueFoundry as a company?
Both. As a founder, I think as a founder, you would be less paranoid because you had done this before. You had a very successful exit. But then when you started TrueFoundry, you could have started anything. So what is the biggest question mark in your mind about the thesis behind TrueFoundry?
Actually, when we were raising our investment, we tried to talk to a lot of folks in the AI community, including senior developers to principal architects to some of the leaders. And the thing that was still bothering us is, while there is a problem, while it is not the most efficient way people are doing things and they still want a better way, one of the things that was bothering, are people willing to put money to solve that problem? And that I think has been a discovery for us, because that entire stack, when you look from experimentation to deployment to control to evaluation today and whatever, those have been problem areas because AI itself had not seen value enough. So when something doesn't see value, you don't get the budget to be able to invest in it. And no matter how much you can solve the problem and you can show the world a better state, the question was, will the world see it? And I think that changed with ChatGPT launch, because it completely transformed how the world sees AI, and that kind of solved that budget problem as well, because now people are willing to put budget to solve for what can scale really fast.
And today, do you think it's easy to get budget for a platform like TrueFoundry, which is securing your AI, right? It's probably the middleware, right? Do you think it's easy to get budget, or do you still face questions?
I think it has become really, really easy now. People have realized that without a centralized layer to control the governance, observability, and security, it's really hard to make it effective. Take an example. Maybe I'll draw a parallel to, let's say you're building a city, right? You build a lot of parks in it. You build, a lot of trucks, vehicles in it, and you build a lot of houses in it. But there is no single pathway that is built that can allow people to move from one place to each other freely. What is the first thing you want to build? You want to build those roadways. Roadways will allow cars to travel in a seamless way, cars of different types, of different sizes. And it's the roadway that connects the entire city together. Like AI gateway is almost like that. If you don't build the roadway, that city existing will not matter. It'll be like 100x less efficient. And I think people have realized it. So whenever a city is planned, like people put budget into building that roadways. And I think people have realized that they need to put budget to build and have an AI gateway internally.
So do you think AI gateway is kind of the road connecting the different parts of that city?
Definitely it is. It is what makes the accessibility for different folks in your organization, in which case, let's say city, all the folks to understand what they can access, through what mechanisms can they access, and then how can I access things in different parts of the city. Similarly, what can I access in different parts of the organization, and then build something that can allow me to become efficient. So that is definitely an important piece.
Tell us more about AI gateways. It seems to be your star product. What does it do?
You can look at it in different lenses, Piyush, and from the lenses of different personas, right?
Okay.
As well. So, like recently there was a lot of noise around, Uber spending huge amounts in budgets, and Amazon spending more than 500 million in Claude and so on. Like the CFO is probably asking, hey, where do you put these controls, right?
True.
So that is one problem the AI gateway solves. If you are a business like, let's say booking.com, you are launching out a product to your customers where someone can type and they can get their ticket booked connected to their payment systems. I do not want that the payment system of Piyush is used to make a payment for a booking I did. So there needs to be very tight control on authorization, accessibility and all. That is something the AI gateway solve for. Who has access to what at a very granular level. So that is the second piece. The third piece is for the same scenario. Imagine it's rolled out as a new product to 100 million users of booking.com, for example. And on the day of rollout, the model that it was using behind the hood goes down. People have a bad experience. They'll move over to other platforms and they will create a lot of noise in social media. In order to ensure that that product is reliable, you need something that behind the hood can make that switch even if one of the systems is down. That is what the AI gateway does. Imagine you went to the same portal and you asked the question how to make a bomb and it answers you, right? Now the booking.com CEO can be questioned left, right on the social media that how is this product answering questions that are unethical. So being able to put that right governance into your product, that is something the AI gateway does. So anytime you are rolling out AI at scale in a case that you cannot fail, you need to have these controls. Otherwise, you do not know what will happen. Like you can spend $100 or you can end up spending like millions of dollars and you have no control without an AI gateway.
Wow. That's a lot of problems solved. Because you're telling me AI gateways can solve the cost problem, governance, security, reliability, and even your customer's experience. So does that mean everybody needs an AI gateway?
I think so. Every organization that wants to roll out AI needs an AI gateway. It's almost like, imagine every merchant in the world that's wanting to launch their own way to sell things. They need a payment gateway. Otherwise, they'll, be doing. So you need an AI gateway. Anyone who wants to launch an AI application, an AI application is similar to almost like, launching your own merchant shop or thing, an e-commerce store. You need a payment gateway. Similarly, you need an AI gateway in the AI world.
How big do you think this market can become?
I would say, let me answer this question in twofold. Like when you think of AI gateway as a middle layer that is sitting between the traffic, let's say people are spending $1 trillion tomorrow. If that middle layer can do the job of controlling and accessing and giving you the right visibility into things, people generally would pay 10% or so for that middleware layer. So that market itself could be 100 billion. And then because you're sitting in the middle, you can do a lot of magic on top of it to make it even more viable, like reducing your insights on model spends, giving you the best way in which teams could have spends on other models. You can extend on the left side and make it, now you have all the tooling connected. Can you actually build something as a harness that can use this tooling and do the magic that Claude is doing on your system for all the tools within your organizations, but can be published and in a vendor neutral way across all models. So there is a huge space here, and it depends how we make of the AI gateway and how we extend it. But yeah, it's a huge market.
Sounds like a massive opportunity. What are the challenges?
Every model provider is trying to take control on how they can own the entire agentic suite, and this is a fight that happens every single time, like when there is a new space. uh, and that kind of questions that if everything is happening within one provider, would you need a vendor neutral layer or not? But time and again over multiple, you can see the life cycle of various new products launched. There will always be 2, 3, 4 winners in those, but the layer that is kind of orchestrating across those has to be a vendor neutral layer, because otherwise it's too risky for you. What if one of those providers fail? Your entire system goes for a toss. You cannot risk that, and therefore I think while it's a huge risk, it also is something that is hard to kind of visualize will happen, that everything will go towards a single thing and everything else will be wiped out.
So what's your moat in that case, if that happens? Because this is something every founder is thinking about today. If the foundational model providers started building what they are building, how do you survive? So what is it that you are building that they can't?
So when we think of the state of AI today, like we work across a lot of enterprises, a lot of fast growing scaling tech companies, and we see that their stack is not composed of single models today or single MCPs. Like it's multiple models, huge MCPs across the stack that are being used, including MCPs that are self-hosted and so on. And we are able to kind of see a lot of data flowing in, which maybe a single provider will only see the data through them, but that is something that itself is a moat, because in an organization, there will be more such data flowing in, 100x of that, and you are able to leverage it to build something meaningful in a better harness for them that holds across models. I think that is something that other individual model providers today won't be able to do. Let's say it happens tomorrow. Obviously, as a startup, you are building for the search of truth, and if that's the truth, then you have to live with it and figure out what is the moat. But for today's world, that looks like a less of a probability.
And TrueFoundry was one of the early movers in the space, right? I mean, you're the first few AI gateways to really hit the market. Of late, we've seen a lot of API gateways add an AI gateway offering to their platform. Is that a threat at all?
So when we go into conversations, obviously, everyone realizes that this is a big opportunity, right? Like APIs have stagnated. Everything is going towards agentic. And in the world of agents, it's more and more agents, more and more MCPs, more and more models, and a lot of combinations of those. So this market is growing very fast and will probably become 10x, 100x of the API gateway market. So it's natural that a lot of security players are coming towards this space. A lot of API gateways are coming towards this space. Cloud providers are themselves rolling out, some products in this space. But that only validates more of this space. And I think the market is a huge market. And, we are not worried about, another player being capturing that. We are worried about how big the market is and can we grab a major share of it.
Interesting. Recently, we saw one of your competitors, Portkey, got acquired by Palo Alto Networks. How does that impact you, or does it impact you?
I think there is a huge positive indication to the space overall. Palo Alto is a 200 to 50 billion market cap company. Someone taking an interest in a very nascent product that is 1.5 years back indicates that this market is not a few $1 million. It's a huge market. And there's a huge potential. And when you think about something sitting in the middle layer, and we talked about governance, on the right side, we integrate ourselves with a lot of security players. So security will try to come, everyone will move towards covering more of what they're covering. So the security players will move leftways and try to cover into the AI gateway space. But the thing is, that validates the space, that gives more traction to this space. When we talk to companies today, they are more ready because they know, oh, this is something that is important. Whether it's a threat, I personally don't see it as a huge threat. I think it's generally a good thing for this space. At the same time, I would say Palo Alto is fundamentally a security company. A lot of the way they will kind of think about the gateway will be around the security aspects. But there are so many different aspects that we talked about, reliability, FinOps, etc., which have a lot of things to be done, and Gartner itself calls out that you should look for a vendor that is neutral here because they can solve for all these 5 problems. So yeah, we are not worried. I think it's a good thing for this space. Kudos to the Portkey team, what they have built, and excited to be continuing to build this.
It's a fantastic team. We work with them as well. It's a really, really good team.
Nice.
Cool. Anuraag, let's talk a little bit about your journey building TrueFoundry. Tell us some of your best moments in this 4.5-year journey of building this company.
This will need a little bit of thought. Let me kind of... so one moment that actually stood out was we did our offsite in Maldives last year, and we were a team of like 35 to 40 people, and we were gathering a set of people in the room about what it has been to build the company through the journeys. And when we were delivering that, we realized that we ourselves have transformed so much compared to the individuals we were 4 years back. And we have this set of folks who actually dream and want TrueFoundry to be big and are putting in all the effort to make it happen. And that kind of led me to believe that there is a much, much bigger responsibility than just building a company. It is about ensuring that the dreams of all of these people we are able to meet. And I think that realization was an important moment for me.
Interesting. How have you changed personally and professionally?
Personally, I would say, going through the journey of going to IIT, then going into WorldCoin, a lot of times you don't realize that things can fail. I think personally, I've started to take failures more, in a simple way, and I am more open to it, I would say, because every few weeks there will be an initiative that fails, and that is completely fine. I don't blame myself too much for it. I think that is one change. I would say I've become more emotional towards, building the company is not just building it for the wealth creation opportunity, but about the impact it can create. And the impact it can create is not about just the impact you are creating, but as a team, you are doing for all the stakeholders. So your customers, your investors, your vendors you are working with, and all the employees and stakeholders of TrueFoundry. I think I've realized that it's a very emotional decision, and my communication with them has softened quite a lot in terms of what we are, and more open towards it. I think that is a personal change.
What would your team say if we ask them, how's Anuraag as a co-worker or somebody as a founder?
Again, like you should definitely ask them, and I'd love to hear the feedback. But potentially you will hear that very, very customer first. Like I care a lot about anything going wrong with customers, and I care a lot about the growth of every single person in the team, and hopefully care a lot about execution, like getting things executed versus thinking and reminiscing on them for a long time. Let's get things done, and we'll figure out if it does not work.
I don't think they will agree with any of these. Tell me some of your tough moments. Like, what was difficult in this journey?
Tough moments have been in various ways. One of the tough moments has always been like, whenever the product does not work or does not get the traction from the market and what needs to be built, that puts us into a lot of discussions, debates, to be able to discover the right truth, and makes us question, like, is this what we are doing really true, or is it just something we are believing in and we are blinding ourselves to it? So there have been many moments like that. Like initially when we started, we spent almost 6 months trying to build a better version of the experimentation platform. And when we think about it later, we realize that it was not even a big problem that we should have solved for, because it was not needle changing. It was delta improvement, but it was not 10x, it was not 100x. And those are things that have been tough moments where you have to shoot yourself in the decision, realizing that you were wrong, and you have to learn that this will happen more and more, but you have to be open to it. So that is one. The other tough moments have been, things where there have been tough conversations with some of the stakeholders, whether it's a customer or an employee, and there are those moments. And as a founder of the company, your goal is to ensure that the net value for all the stakeholder improves, and that can lead to tough conversations with specific stakeholders, and those have been tough moments. Because if it was just an individual sake, you'll do everything to make each of those work, but sometimes it just does not, and they are hard moments. Yeah.
Are they becoming easier slowly?
They do become easier slowly, but it does kind of still leave an impact. Every time we have to tell something no to a customer, or part with a stakeholder that does not work out well.
What's the most critical feedback a customer has given you?
So as we were building this product, and it's been a journey, one of the things we were always trying to keep ourselves very close to was be very close to customer. Now that has an imperative in 3 ways. One is, if a customer is telling something, how quickly are you responding and solving their problem? The second is, how quickly are you taking the feedback and incorporating it into your product? And the third is, if there is actually a bug or something, are you actually resolving that bug specifically? Okay. And we started doing all 3 of this: listening to customers, incorporating feedback into the product, releasing features, correcting the bugs every time they tell. And customers praised us for the support and everything. There was one customer, he told that you all have a great support and you all take in feedback, incorporate it into the product. But just think about if any of these bugs we didn't even have to raise to you. Yeah. Like if your product was really solid, we'd never have to come to you. And that kind of was a very, very critical feedback that kind of made us sense that we are sitting in the reliability layer and we need to make our product do the job. You cannot solve it just with humans, and the product has to speak for itself in terms of reliability, scalability, and we continue to invest a lot in that. We have already made it very, very stable and reliable, and we want to continue to do that, so that customers, when they come to us, they come for newer requirements, newer capabilities that can unlock value, rather than bugs and fixes that is unblocking them. And tomorrow they don't have to tell that the support was good because there was a bug and we responded, but the support was good because we delivered them newer value that others were not delivering.
This is something we have also heard. So we swear by our support that, look, we are available when you want us to be available. You have a bug, we'll come and solve it. You have a question, we'll answer it. And one of the customers told us that, I don't want that. I don't want to talk to you.
Yes.
I just want your product to work. Yes. So make it a product that does not need support.
Yeah, I think that had a lot of implication in the way we write our docs. A lot of times, the capability is there. Someone does not have a way to read it. And even today, we are continuing to improve. It has already gotten a lot better. But we realize that if there is something in the product, the customer needs to be told how to use it, needs to have a pathway to use it. And if there are problems, the product needs to solve it over a period of time rather than fixing it via ad hoc calls.
And you're selling to a very tough audience. You're selling to technical buyers. You're selling to developers who can build it. Like, I'm sure there would be an urge that why should I, buy TrueFoundry's product? I can code this. They can't, or they can't do that easily, but that urge is there. Even when they're looking at products, they look at it from a very critical eye, right? What are the challenges you face when selling to a CTO or a head of AI or the platform engineering team? What makes it so tough?
I think definitely, like, when you're selling to the engineering teams, it's a tough thing to kind of sell to. But I think this is again something that has always happened in all spaces. Like, when you are building deployments, the internal teams are building deployments, and the question is like, what is your product offering? But the important thing to realize is here, I think, Piyush, is if you build something that is 10x better and 10x faster than they can think about it, over a period of time, a lot of the naysayers will convert into positive sayers. And that is something that has started to happen, I would say. Think about compilers, right? Like 2007, 8, everyone wanted to write compilers. Yeah. Today, no one talks about them because there is a general urge to write them. But over a period, people realize that rising tide lifts all boats, right? That's a phrase. And as a company, we are focused deep down every single day building the gateway. A company that is allocating 10 resources and it's not a part of their main charter, they can never build it as good as we will. Like, we are interfacing with hundreds and thousands of customers. We get that feedback. So the concept that rising tide lifts all boats, the feedback from all of this will make our product much better, and it will make it better even for them. The use cases they have not thought of, they will be able to see. So I think there's a evolution curve, and people realize it over a period of that evaluation curve. But I think those questions have reduced, and it will reduce further. And tomorrow it will be pretty common to just buy a gateway level. No one builds an observability or a monitoring tool today. They just buy Datadog, New Relic. It will be something that will just standardize tomorrow.
But that's part of the answer, right? Because that's your product doing its job. But at TrueFoundry, you also lead sales, right? You were the first salesperson. You're still very much involved in sales. So as a salesperson, how difficult is it to get some of these technical buyers on the call or get in front of them? Is that difficult at all?
It is difficult, definitely, because people are in different phases of their adoption cycle or their buying cycle, and discovering the people who are in the right mindset, where the need is enough, where they have a constraint that they need to implement it soon, and they also have the blessing of the management for the right budgetary requirements, is something that is definitely hard. And we keep on iterating on it and solving it every day, and that's where some of our relationship with Reo has also spawned in, and it has helped us a lot in that journey.
What's worked for you? Because a lot of our audience are GTM folks. So VPs of marketing, founders solving for GTM, sales teams. What's worked for you from a GTM perspective?
We kind of try to ensure that we get into conversations with as many primary and secondary decision makers that we can, who can face this problem. And a lot of times they might be in a different state where this might be too early for them, where they don't realize the value. But depending on the stage they are in, your goal as a founder, as a salesperson, as a product person, is to continue to educate them and create that awareness as to why this is an important problem to solve. And if they don't buy today, we actually, sometimes it has been cases where we have told them this is not a right fit for you, because it will not lead to value, and then you will kind of churn. So actually you should start without it, and then when you realize the value, you come to us. And a lot of times people will appreciate that, because you cannot force people to buy. So that has been one thing that we realized very early. So that has led to sales happening. We had our initial conversation, nothing, and after 9 months, the customer shows up because they realize the value, and they remember us, that we didn't try to sell, but we told them the real thing. So that has been one. The second has been helping them discover what we are doing, which is, we need to tell the world what we are, what problems are being solved. And that has happened through a lot of content we have written over the last 9 to 12 months. And that has led to a really good thing in terms of matching who are really looking for this problem and wanting to solve it today. And then the third thing has been adopting the right tooling that can give us the insights on which could be those companies, those personas who are thinking about this today or might think about it tomorrow, so that we can capture them first.
This is one thing I really want to call out the TrueFoundry team. It's been so amazing working with you, because I think your team really knows what they're looking for. They know what signals mean that a team is looking for an AI gateway or an MCP gateway right now. And in fact, we've learned a lot from your team.
It's a common feeling, Piyush. So we are excited and always love working with the Reo team as well.
Tell me something about our partnership. And we are so grateful to be working with TrueFoundry. But when we started working with you, I think Reo was 1 year old, and we were still your most expensive GTM purchase. What convinced you to buy Reo back then?
So when we were doing our Series A fundraise, we actually wrote a small one-page thesis on the GTM, and pretty much the thing about that thesis was that at any point, if we pick 100 people in the world who might be doing AI, out of those 20 might be in a state where they might see value out of it, and only maybe 3 out of those might be actually in the market looking out for what we are selling. And the best efficiency can come from identifying those 3 people, right? And we obviously can do our job. We were doing a lot of this manually in terms of figuring out who are using our competitors' products, or who are using products that are adjacent to us, or who are talking about it in the social media. But that was again the same thing, right? Like we can do it ourselves, but it does not make sense. So when we found like Reo, when we had that conversation, we realized that you all are building towards really bringing all that data in one place, which we felt was a really solid investment for us. And it was something we anyways didn't want to do ourselves. So if we could get those insights in the best way, we'd love to utilize it and double accelerate our GTM. And that is where we started using Reo, and it's been an amazing journey. I think the product has evolved significantly from where we are, from capturing just signals in one axis to now across axis, which has been great to see, and we are continuing to work together to improve it further.
Thank you so much, Anuraag. Give me candid feedback. What does Reo not do well?
It is probably a feedback that we have talked about because like you all have all the signals across the world, right? Like, and you are continuing to accelerate it. I'm pretty sure the signals that are 10 today will become 100. That is not a doubt. The way those signals can be consumed by a team for it to reach the end impact is something that today still needs a lot of work, and it's hard for me to organize, the sales team around Reo in a way where I can track and understand that all of the signals are being used in the right way, the right allocations are done, the right reach outs are done, and there is a way for them to filter. Because every person might have a very different way of filtering through signals, and I think if you can expose the UI in a way that makes it very easy for people to consume, I think all the things exist. It's just about further improving the experience from a way people can consume those signals.
Noted. And I think I agree. I think user expectations have changed a lot with AI. I think in that sense, TrueFoundry and Reo are on very different sides of the AI wave. You are enabling that wave to happen through middleware, and we are benefiting from that wave.
Correct.
Because if you see today, and if I compare the world today from the world 2 years back, a lot of the big companies, big enterprises, they were set with their GTM stack. They had the legacy tools and they were very happy. Today, you go and talk to any company out there. It can be a new age startup. It can be a 20-year-old company. Everybody's revamping their GTM stack.
Yep.
And everybody's bringing AI into their GTM. So how have you brought AI into your GTM? What's AI done for your go-to-market?
I think the first biggest thing has been efficiency in terms of like enabling, when you think about the funnel, you want to look at the entire set of ICP that exists, and out of those ICP, can I find the right set of companies that are actually looking out for something related to AI, observability, governance, authorization, controls, or an AI gateway directly. And then among those, can I find the right buyers, and can I reach out to them with the right messaging? Each of those pieces, I think, has gotten revamped with AI. A lot of work has been on the intent side itself, because AI suddenly enables you to capture a lot of intent that would have been very hard to scrape out earlier. And that's where I think we leverage Reo, and we kind of improve it further with some of our own signals. And then it has helped a lot of our business development team and the marketing team to then find the right personas and send them the right triggers to help them build the awareness about the space, so that when they are ready to buy, we can actually be the go-to place for them. So yeah, I mean, every space is getting revamped by AI, and AI-powered GTM is a very important thing. We have also learned slowly over a period of time. What we still don't necessarily use it for is, sending a lot of automated emails, because we feel that that's a commodity asset. Like ultimately, the number of people in the world is limited, so they'll read limited number of emails. Yeah. Now, if everyone starts sending emails, at a huge scale, for the end user, they are seeing much more emails, but they'll not get value out of it. So we try to do it in a different way, still manual, by using all the insights, but sticking to some things there. But yeah.
You mentioned signals. What signals have worked for you? And of course, you don't have to give away everything, but tell us some signals that have worked for you, which are not the most obvious ones.
So I'll tell something that is very simple, but sometimes we don't realize. Like, let's say there was a visitor from a company that came into your website 6 months back. Let's say that company is whatever, like Dynatrace, Uber. They came, they scurried through some of the pages, and then they dropped off. This was the first time they came. at that point, you are not really sure if they're really looking for a tool or if they heard it and they're exploring. But let's say after they drop off, 3 months later, again they resurface.
Yeah.
And that is such a huge signal that it's very non-intuitive, very simple. But a lot of times we miss that. So this is a very simple example of a signal that, through right website analytics can be captured and can be a very, very high intent signal for buying. The other signals are like, figuring out also what are people talking about in their JDs that they're rolling out. If everyone is talking about multiple models, about authorization, about authentication, about observability, at some point, even if they are not looking for it today, tomorrow they'll look for it. And gathering those signals and having it in a structured way is an important thing. If there are ways to kind of capture what your competitors are kind of looking for, that is another signal. So these are some intent signals that are useful, important, and nuanced.
What's your biggest GTM challenge today?
So we are obviously, a company that's been growing and benefiting from the AI wave. But brand is something that, needs to be a huge part of the GTM. And I think we are doing a lot now to improve on the brand game. And the biggest challenge is, can we as a company be known by every single player? They don't have to be our buyers, but they should know TrueFoundry. If they know TrueFoundry, probably it will enable the buyers to buy us when the need is there. And I think that is one of the problems we are solving for.
I think brand marketing in B2B has had a reckoning. Like if you go back a couple of years, it was very hard to find a brand marketer with a B2B expertise. And I think more and more startups are realizing that today. And again, I think AI is making it possible. What wasn't possible even 2 years back is possible today. What's your wish list? If you could wish for one GTM tool, what should that tool do?
I think if it could look at every company in the world that exists, no matter which region it is, which geography it is, and it could tell me exactly based on the activities that in the next 1 month, these are the folks that will come and will need a control layer. That's all, because then we can try and capture them in the next 1 month.
I think that's on the roadmap.
We'll look forward to that.
Awesome. Anuraag, thank you so much for sharing all of this. As always, lots to learn and love working with you. Now let's talk a little bit about what's happening in the world. So you have this front row seat to the AI industry. Do you think, how far do you think OpenAI and Anthropic can go? Is 1 trillion, 10 trillion? Where does it stop? And as an investor, would you invest in their IPOs?
So personally, I have generally been against investing in IPOs at the time when it happens, because it's a lot about greed. IPOs are done in a way where people are looking forward to it. There's a lot of hype created, and wherever there is greed, there is a chances of failure. But if you look at it, will I invest over a period of time? Yes, 100%. What they are kind of doing today, it's not even a fraction of what it can be possible tomorrow. It can be 10x, 100x, because the impact of AI is just starting to get realized. It's not even 1% there. And these are companies sitting at the epicenter, doing things that can completely change the way we think. And it's happening every single day with every model launch, every product launch. So definitely, once the IPO cools down, we'll definitely can think of investing in that.
That's some good investment advice coming from a hedge fund manager. I think I'll take that. But Anuraag, if you could ask one question to the founders of OpenAI or Anthropic, what would that be?
Like, what I'm amazed by is a lot of times what they are thinking and doing is something sometimes we don't even think of. Like we think that it's potentially not even possible. And that's what, the ChatGPT, Anthropic and all, we realize it after it's out. But to be able to imagine it before someone else has thought about it and dreaming that it's possible and then building towards it in a very constrained manner, like I'd love to know how they do it, and I would try to figure out how we can build an organization that can have the same approach towards building for the future.
Where do you think the future is headed? What is one area or one industry that you think AI should not touch?
Maybe instead of industry, I'll talk about the area. There are a lot of things when we look about our daily lives is about personal interactions. Like, for example, me sitting with you here right now talking about this. Now, obviously, you can generate a podcast of Piyush and Anuraag without needing to do this, and it can happen, it can be marketed. But if that happens too much, the entire human aspect will get lost. And I feel that the things that involve personal human interactions, if AI does not touch it, will be really nice, because that will lead to a more better world. And if it is used in the areas that can solve for the problems, that will be the areas we should solve for.
Amazing. Where do you see yourself 5 years from now, apart from owning an island?
Now, hopefully we are able to create the right impact in the world. People look at TrueFoundry as the company that is impacting and enabling AI for everyone, and the entire AI traffic of the world is passing through us, so that we can build something amazing on top of that.
Will that make you cross over to the evil side?
No, not really.
So last few questions. Like, if there was a Hollywood movie made on the journey of TrueFoundry, what movie would that be?
I'm not like a watcher of a lot of Hollywood movies, but Moneyball is a good one. It kind of brings the spirit that we as a team have, where Billy Beane kind of tries to build a team outside of credentials, outside of the known set of players that existed, but he builds a team with lower budget and still makes them super successful. I think that kind of embodies how we are build the team and what we are trying to do. That no matter what resources are, no matter where we are based, we want to kind of capture the world, and we want to do it with the right spirit.
Interesting. If you were to start again tomorrow, right? Let's say whatever happened, somebody acquired TrueFoundry, you start again, what would you build?
I think if we knew about this control layer at the time we started, we would start right there and build from there, rather than having to go through and see those cycles and start building like maybe a few years back. Right at day zero, we could have tried and build the control layer that will envision the future of AI, and that would have given us even more headspace in terms of building something that is more powerful. But yeah, I think I'm very happy with the journey so far, and I generally don't like to reverse back and think. But what I'm building today, if there was a way to build it even from an earlier path, that would be what we'll build.
Amazing. Last question, Anuraag. And again, this is more to the hedge fund manager in you. If you had $10 million to invest today, in the next 30 seconds, where would you put it?
The simplest answer for me is to invest in TrueFoundry.
No, you can't do that. Pick a different one.
It's a hard question. I do not know what is the list available. We would definitely consider Reo.Dev, and would love for you all to become a big company as well. But in general, if
we can stop at Reo.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Awesome. Anuraag, thank you so much for doing this. It was so fun talking to you. It's amazing to have you as a friend, as a customer, and as a fellow founder building TrueFoundry.
No, I appreciate you having us in the show, and really great working with you.